Plan. There is a silent tragedy unfolding around us, and we don't even notice it. It's not loud. It doesn't break things. Plan. It doesn't come in the form of disaster. It shows up quietly in your 20s. In the form of endless scrolling. Plan. Late night distractions. Sleeping dreams away. It comes wrapped in comfort and labeled plan. You still have time. But let me ask you something. What if you don't plan? What if these years, the very heartbeat of your becoming, are slipping through your fingers while you say, plan? I'll start tomorrow. You were not born to just get by, not designed to stay stuck in cycles of survival. Plan. Your 20s are not a playground. They are a blueprint. Not the season of waiting, but of building. Plan. Not for figuring everything out, but for becoming someone who can handle anything. Plan. Because life isn't waiting for you to be ready. It's happening now. Plan. And if you keep sitting on the sidelines hoping for a sign, this might be the only one you'll get. So let's pause, plan, reflect, plan, and rewrite this story before the best years of your life become your biggest regrets. There's a dangerous illusion that lives quietly in the minds of those in their 20s. The belief that time is endless. Plan. That you can drift a little longer. That passion can wait. Plan. That purpose will somehow show up at the right moment. And while you're convincing yourself that you'll start next week, plan. Next year, or when you feel ready, the days are passing uncelebrated, unnoticed, unlived. Time doesn't shout as it slips away. Plan. It whispers, and only the awakened hear it. The truth is, your 20s are not a rehearsal. They are not the warm-up round. Plan. They are the fire in which your identity is forged. Plan. This is the chapter where the foundation of your future is built. Not someday, but now. Every choice you make, plan. Every habit you allow, every fear you surrender to, it writes your story. Plan. The world doesn't need you ready. It needs you willing. Plan. Because waiting for a perfect moment is like waiting for rain in a drought, paralyzing and painful. Plan. We romanticize procrastination as if it's part of the journey. I'm just figuring it out. We say, plan. But how can you figure out who you are if you keep postponing the parts of life that force you to grow? Plan. Your calling won't chase you. Your greatness won't beg for your attention. Plan. They're waiting for you to take one step, not a giant leap, just one. Because time isn't your enemy, but it is your mirror. Plan. It reflects what you chose to do with it and what you didn't. And when you finally realize how precious time truly is, plan. Regret won't be loud. It will be quiet and heavy, like an empty room filled with unspoken dreams. Plan. So today, not tomorrow, is the day to stop waiting, because the lie of, I have time, is a thief. Plan. And every time you believe it, it robs you of one more day you could have lived fully, bravely, and unapologetically alive. Plan. We live in a world obsessed with outcomes. Success is measured in results, in rewards, in how much you have, how far you've gone. Plan. And how many are clapping for you. But the truth that no one tells you is this. Plan. Your 20s are not the season of harvest. They are the season of sowing. These years are not meant to look perfect. Plan. They are meant to be messy, filled with questions, failures, late nights, and silent work no one sees. Plan. And that's not a setback. That's the process. This is the time to plant, to put in effort that won't bloom right away. Plan. To build skills you're not yet good at, to chase goals that feel too far away, to say yes to learning. Plan. To start again after you fall, and to keep watering your dreams even when there's no sign of growth. Plan. Seeds grow underground first, in the dark, in the quiet. That is where roots are built. That is where resilience is born. Plan. And in your 20s, the roots you build are more important than the flowers anyone else can see. Plan. But because the world shows us highlights and filters, it becomes easy to believe you're falling behind. Plan. You look around and see others winning, and you start to panic, thinking you missed your chance. Plan. But comparison is a distraction. Everyone's soil is different. Everyone's season is different. You cannot rush your bloom. Plan. You cannot steal someone else's timing and expect it to fit your story. Plan. Don't waste your energy chasing fruits that haven't ripened. Stay grounded in your own garden. Plan. Your future self isn't waiting for you to be successful. It's waiting for you to be consistent. Plan. The real magic isn't in the applause. It's in the quiet, ordinary days where no one is watching. Plan. That's where you choose to show up. That's where you lay the foundation of a life that will one day bloom so powerfully. Plan. The world will stop and stare, not at the fruit, but at the faith it took to keep planting, even when nothing had grown yet. Plan. We often confuse discipline with restriction. We see it as a cage, something that takes away joy and freedom. Plan. But true discipline is not confinement. It is the very tool that creates the life you dream of living. It is in your 20s. Plan. In the moments no one is watching, when you choose structure over chaos, when you say no to temporary pleasure for lasting peace. Plan. That your future begins to take shape. The freedom you seek, financial, emotional, spiritual, is not built by accident. Plan. It is earned by choosing discipline now. Think of discipline as a silent architect. It doesn't make noise. Plan. It doesn't celebrate itself, but it lays the bricks that become your foundation. Waking up early, saving money. Plan. Reading instead of scrolling, doing the work when it's hard. These aren't punishments, they're investments. Plan. And while the world may mock you for not living your best life, what they don't see is that you are quietly building a life where you won't have to escape from anything later. Plan. The people who appear free in their 30s or 40s, the ones who travel when they want. Plan. Who have peace in their homes and pride in their work, didn't just get lucky. Plan. They planted seeds of discipline when no one was clapping. They fought the inner battles you are facing now. Plan. They chose hard truths over soft comforts. They didn't chase quick dopamine, they chased direction. Plan. And that's what your 20s are asking from you. Not perfection, but practice. Because every time you honor discipline, plan, you are telling your future self, I've got your back. You are choosing a life where you don't need to pretend, escape, plan, or numb yourself to survive. You're building stability, not just success. Plan. Freedom doesn't come from having no rules. It comes from knowing you are in control of your choices. Plan. And that control doesn't appear overnight. It is carved day by day. Plan. Through the quiet power of self-respect, there's a kind of comfort that pretends to be kind. But it's not. Plan. It wraps itself around you like a soft blanket, lulling you into stillness, whispering, you're okay here. Plan. Stay. And at first, it feels safe. It feels easy. But slowly, without warning, it begins to steal something sacred. Plan. Your hunger to grow. What we mistake as peace is often just the absence of discomfort, not the presence of purpose. Plan. And while peace is healing, comfort, when left unchecked, becomes a slow poison to your potential. In your 20s, plan, comfort seduces you in subtle ways. Plan. It convinces you to skip the gym just for today. It says you can always start that dream next week. Plan. It tells you that working hard now isn't necessary, that life will somehow figure itself out. Plan. But comfort doesn't create freedom. It creates dependency. The more you lean on it, the weaker your will becomes. Plan. The dreams you once had begin to shrink, not because you lacked talent, but because you chose safety over becoming. Plan. You were not born to stay where it feels easy. Growth never lives in comfort. It lives in the resistance. In the stretch, plan. In the moments that scare you and shake you and break the routine you've outgrown. True peace is not about avoiding hard things, plan. It's about becoming strong enough to face them. You will never find fulfillment by staying numb, plan. You will never feel proud by staying the same. Peace comes from progress, and progress always begins with discomfort, plan. So if life feels too quiet, too still, too easy, ask yourself, is this peace, or am I slowly disappearing into my comfort zone, plan? Because the things that challenge you are not trying to destroy you. They are trying to wake you up, plan. And the longer you hide in comfort, the louder your regrets will be later. Don't confuse silence for safety. Sometimes, plan. The most dangerous place is the one where nothing ever changes. You open your phone, scroll for a moment, plan. And suddenly you're drowning. Someone else your age is traveling the world, starting a business, launching their dream. And you, plan. You're still trying to figure out your next step. In that moment, you forget your own journey. You forget your own progress, plan. You forget that the path you're on wasn't meant to look like anyone else's, plan. Comparison doesn't inspire growth. It suffocates it, plan. It shifts your focus from becoming your best to trying to become someone else's version of success, plan. What we often forget is that social media shows moments, not stories. Highlights, not hardships, plan. You see the fruit, but not the roots. The applause, but not the pain, plan. Every time you measure your worth against someone else's timeline, you rob yourself of joy, of clarity, of self-belief, plan. You forget that your purpose is not a race. It's not a competition. It's a calling, one that only you can answer, plan. And when you compare, you start to question your own voice. You stop building and you start doubting, plan. Comparison tricks you into believing you are behind, when in truth, life is not linear. Some people bloom early, others take time, plan. Some start fast and burn out. Others grow slow and last longer. What matters is not how quickly you succeed, plan, but how deeply you're rooted. The real question isn't, plan, why am I not like them? It's, am I becoming more of who I was meant to be? The world doesn't need another copy, plan. It needs you. Raw, real, unfinished, but evolving. If you spend all your energy looking sideways, you'll never move forward, plan. Your 20s are too precious to waste trying to win someone else's race. Focus on your soil, water your gifts, heal your wounds, plan, walk your pace. And remember, the only person you were ever meant to compete with is the person you were yesterday, plan. We are raised to fear failure, to hide it, to avoid it. We are taught that if we fall, it means we are weak, plan. That if we make mistakes, we've done something wrong. But here's the truth no one tells you, plan. Your 20s are the perfect time to fail, to fall hard, to stumble publicly. Because these failures, though painful, plan, are not setbacks. They are the teacher's life sends when success is still too fragile to hold, plan. Every mistake is a page in your growth, not a verdict on your worth. You are not supposed to have it all figured out, plan. You are not supposed to get everything right on the first try. What matters is not that you fall, but how you rise, plan. When you fail now, you are learning lessons that some people will spend decades avoiding. You are stretching your courage, plan, discovering your limits, and most importantly, learning that your value is not determined by perfection, but by persistence, plan. Failure doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're becoming. Don't hide your losses in shame. Speak them. Own them, plan. Let them breathe. Let them be loud, because when you own your failures, you disarm them, plan. You free yourself from the lie that you have to be flawless to be worthy. Let your story be messy. Let your journey be real, plan. Because authenticity is far more powerful than illusion, and people are inspired not by those who never fall, plan, but by those who fall and keep showing up anyway. Your 20s are not the time to play it safe. They are the time to take bold steps, plan, even if your knees shake. Start that business, even if it collapses. Speak your truth, even if your voice trembles, plan. Walk into rooms where you feel unprepared because growth doesn't happen inside the familiar. It lives in the risk. Fail now, fail fast, fail forward, plan. Because every fall carves out the depth you'll one day need to stand taller than you ever imagined. There's a quiet truth that most people learn too late in life. That who you surround yourself with in your 20s doesn't just influence your mindset, plan. It shapes your future, your friends, your environment, plan, your daily conversations. They become the mirror in which you see yourself. If your circle laughs at your dreams, plan, questions your growth, or feeds your fears instead of your fire, then you are not growing roots. You are slowly being uprooted, plan. Energy is contagious. If you're around people who gossip, complain, settle, or avoid responsibility, plan. That energy will begin to stain your soul. It will dim your ambition and make you believe that mediocrity is normal, plan. You'll start second guessing your goals, shrinking your voice, lowering your standards. Not because you changed, plan, but because the people around you never grew. Your circle can become your cage if you're not careful with who holds the key, plan. In your 20s, the people you spend the most time with will either help you build the life you're dreaming of, plan, or they will distract you from it. Choose those who inspire you, not just in words, but in action, plan. Sit with people who make you want to rise, not rest. Who challenge you when you're slipping, not cheer you when you settle, plan. You deserve friendships that feel like soil, soft enough to hold your roots, strong enough to keep you standing, plan. You are not being rude by outgrowing people. You are being honest about your direction. Love them, pray for them, plan. But don't let them anchor you in a place you've already outgrown. You don't owe anyone your stagnation, plan. You owe yourself your evolution. Protect your energy, protect your dreams. And most of all, plan. Protect your future by guarding your circle like your life depends on it, because it does. So if you're listening to this today, plan. Feeling like you've wasted time, feeling behind, feeling lost. Let me remind you of something simple yet sacred, plan. It is not too late. As long as there is breath in your lungs, there is purpose in your bones, plan. Your 20s were never meant to be perfect. They were meant to wake you up, to shake you, plan. To test the strength of your spirit and the softness of your heart. You do not need a perfect plan. You need a willing heart, plan. You do not need to compete. You need to commit. Commit to becoming, even if no one claps for you yet. Commit to healing, plan, even if it takes time. Commit to choosing growth even when it hurts, plan. Because the most beautiful version of your life will never be handed to you. It will be built, brick by brick, choice by choice, plan, day by day. Your 20s are not slipping away. They are calling you, not to chase the world, but to return to yourself, plan. To show up for your story before it's written by regret. To stop waiting for motivation and start living with intention, planned. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are simply being asked to rise. Now, plan. And when you look back, years from now, you won't remember every mistake, plan. But you will remember the day you decided to stop wasting time and start living like your life actually mattered.